Hey, good morning, and welcome to Coffee and Cosmos with Robin. My name is Robin Fritz, and today I want to talk about something we don't usually think about, and that's saying goodbye to our loved ones before we die. That's right. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do a healing meditation with the Crystal Fallon. Crystal of the Week, talk about some webinars. So we have a lot on the plate for today. So thank you for joining me. So again, good morning again. My name is Robin Fritz. I'm in Seattle, Washington. I do intuitive and spiritual consulting, and I'm a past life regression specialist. And today I want to talk about how important it is to say goodbye to loved ones before we die. But first, every week we do a quick meditation with the Crystal Fallon. So let's do that. This is our opportunity to get grounded and balanced in this time together. It helps bring the community together. Good morning. Thank you for joining me, Carla. Carla Sue. Awesome. What a cool name. And Fallon is the citrine Lemurian quartz, very rare and ancient power crystal. And he's here with us today. Oh, I can see that kind of faint citrine cast to him, so he's really on the ball today. So join us, take a few moments to get grounded and balanced with Fallon. Clear out all the things that you are welcome, all the things that are just in our way today, all the busyness of the day, and let's take our attention to the top of our head. We're connecting mind, body, and spirit more tightly together. So just breathe down your body. And as you do that, feel the energy just loosen up and all the cares of the day just float away so that you're grounded and balanced in this space with us. So starting at the top of your head, breathe down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Fallon works really fast, so just feel that energy whoosh through you. And now imagine Fallon as a gold light at your feet, rotating outside your body. And as he moves up your body, just allow that healing energy to flow in and fill you up with positive, healthy energy. So imagine moving up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, your third eye, and your crown chakra, the top of your head, usually wide open when we connect with Fallon. And if your intuition runs towards feelings, you may feel that actually happening as we did that quick meditation. So I want to thank you for joining us today. And today I want to talk briefly about saying goodbye to loved ones before we die. And I know there's probably no place else where you've ever even thought of this, but it's really important. And saying goodbye to loved ones before we die really goes to gratitude, right? We are grateful for those who are in our lives, our human and our animal families. And we may not always get along, but we are grateful for them. And it's really important to always let our loved ones know how grateful we are for them, and how much we appreciate them and will miss them when we die. And I learned this as a kid from my grandparents. We lived in Oregon, a small town in Oregon, and they lived in Billings, Montana. And once a year they'd come out to visit. I'm old enough that in those days, that was a long drive. And it still is a long drive, but it was a much more difficult journey back then. And so they'd come out and they'd visit, and every time when they left, right before they got in the car and drove away, they'd say, "We're getting older. We may not see you again. We may die. So we just want you to know we love you." Well, you're a little kid and you think, oh my God, and it got to be a joke because we would wait for them to say that every summer. "We want you to know how much we love you. We're getting older. We may die before we see you again. We just want you to know how much we love you." I thought that was really quirky, right? Well, my brother then died unexpectedly. I lost several beloved adults, and I realized the older I got, how savvy my grandparents were to say goodbye before they died. Really, it's really important. As it turned out, all I got was a funeral. I wasn't with either of my grandparents when they died. And I know how important that is. And the reason I'm bringing it up again today is that last week we talked about how important it was to say goodbye to our dead. And there were so many people that responded here on Facebook and also sent me private notes. It's like, wow, I never thought about saying goodbye to my dead. But we also don't think to say goodbye before we die. And I was really reminded of this yesterday when, out of the blue, a family called me to help them say goodbye to a loved one who died unexpectedly. The funeral is today, and yesterday we sat down together so that I could talk with their dead, give them the last messages, and allow them to have that space to say goodbye to him. And I was reminded how important it was because he did not get to say goodbye while he was still alive. And it really matters. And honestly, I think we should have like a day every year, a national holiday. Okay, so I'm in the United States, okay, but maybe a national holiday in every country where we could say goodbye to each other before we die. You know, I think we'd have a better relationship with death. We would make it part of our lives, which it is, and a more natural part of our lives. That's great, Carla. That's awesome. That's perfect. So here's my idea. We take an entire day out of our lives to say goodbye to each other before we die, and also say goodbye to our dead. So we have a big family meal. We'd set a place for everybody, including the dead, and we tell each other, you know, how much we love them. We may have differences, but how much we love them and how much we're going to miss them when we die. And, you know, it would also help us celebrate our own mortality and also give us that time, that day, to reflect on what we've accomplished so far and what we want to do next, right? So it would be like the Day of the Dead, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, and life coaching, you know, all rolled into one, you know, and you could throw in chocolate and cherry pie, you know, and just have a great day. I know how important this is because I work as a medium, but I also know how important it is because I've lost loved ones unexpectedly, and a lot of you may have too. So think about it. What would you say to a loved one to let them know you love them, even if you died later that day? Because that's what happened to the family that I was with yesterday. And so when death takes us by surprise, you know, we would already have previewed goodbye. And I promise you, I swear it works because it's worked in my life and I see it work for my clients. Okay. So I'm willing to take, and that's really all I wanted to say about that today. It's a lot to take in, reflecting on our mortality. But if there are a few people who would like quick readings, please type in what you'd like me to take a look at for you. It's really brief, you know, like 30 seconds. But I'd be happy to take a look at a few quick questions for you. I also want to talk about a crystal of the week and some upcoming webinars that I have, one that in particular coming up real quickly here. But let me just kind of scroll through here and see. Oh, Carla Sue, I know we miss them. So have you said goodbye to her? You know, have you said goodbye, Mom? You know, yesterday with this family, it was so sudden that, you know, they were still in shock. But my parents died over 20 years ago, and I remember to say goodbye to them every single year on the anniversary of their death. I know you haven't been. You know, even if we're not close to our mothers, which happens sometimes, losing our mothers is really devastating. I was much closer to my father, and maybe that's one of the reasons why my dad and I, good, Carla. Maybe that's one of the reasons why my dad and I work together now in the afterlife. But it is really good for us to say goodbye, you know, stop and think about saying goodbye right now, saying goodbye to them, okay? But also you yourself, say goodbye to your loved ones right now. It can open up interesting conversations. And it really helps deepen your relationship with them. I know it sounds kind of morbid, and you may end up giggling, or they may end up giggling at you just like I did. So sorry, Carla. And that's true. When they pass, that struggle in the physical body is over. And it is a relief sometimes. I know I had to watch my dad die over 2 years, struggle really hard to die. And it's hard. So, well, Carla, contact me privately. We could set up a mediumship session. I'd be happy to do that with you. But let's go. If anyone has a quick question they'd want me to look at, great. But here's the crystal of the week I'd like to go back to. And I've used this crystal before. This is carnelian. And there, it's always kind of backwards on Facebook Live on the video. In some ways this is triangular shaped. In other ways you could look at it as heart-shaped. Carnelian is traditionally, and this is a very beautiful piece, traditionally carnelian is used as a root chakra, so boundaries, survival. I don't do cards, Carla, but I'm gonna check into that because they can be a lot of fun. And I haven't found a deck that I really, really relate to yet, but you just spurred me on to check that out. Is there a deck that you like? So carnelian is really great for helping you get up the courage to say goodbye to your loved ones, because it is a great crystal for resolving grief. The ancient Egyptians, thank you. The ancient Egyptians used it to help their dead move on to the afterlife. But carnelian gives you the courage to trust yourself, and that's really important for all of us in our work. And it's a good one to spend time with as you think about this idea of sitting down with your loved ones and telling them goodbye right now. I mean, you're perfectly healthy, you're fine. But if you were going to sit down with them and say goodbye to them, what would you say and why would you say it? Depending on their age, I hope you grow up, and get to do whatever you want to do in your life. I love Mark. He's a good friend of mine. Just check out carnelian for helping you come up with the words that express your gratitude to the loved ones in your life. And, it's kind of hard sometimes. My family never talked about death, really, even after death hit us in the gut with the loss of my brother when I was only 9. But getting the courage to say goodbye and to tell people how much we love them, that takes a lot. And carnelian is a good support for that. And especially this particular crystal, which I use with clients because Tanya, hi, thanks for joining us. I use this particular crystal with clients because this carnelian insists on being a heart chakra stone, which just goes to show that you can look up crystals in crystal books and they'll tell you this is for that. But a particular stone has its own ideas about how it's going to work with you. And that's what makes it fun. So check out carnelian if you'd like. My show sponsor, Kim Valines at Earthlight Rocks and Gems in Kirkland, Washington, can mail you crystals. And I know her crystals are really healthy. I bought from her for years before she sponsored my show. Your daughter's having a rough time with relationship. Yes, Carla, the first thing that pops into my head there is she needs and I'm not saying you're not a good role model. She needs to look at the examples of other women and how they related to people. Okay, so, and Christiana. Okay, I will look at that in a second here. An opportunity you were presented with yesterday. Carla, sit down with your daughter and let me go back here to where your daughter is a very sensitive person. Her intuition runs towards feelings. And so she's quite aware of what other people are feeling around her. And that's really difficult because a lot of people don't understand that your intuition, if it runs towards feelings, you're overly sensitive at times because you are aware of what other people are feeling. So what your daughter would really need to work on is energy boundaries. I do have an upcoming webinar series on that, but just on shielding herself so that she isn't aware of what other people are feeling and can just go back into herself and find a stable ground for herself to reach out to people in. People who are very sensitive with the intuitive, clear feeling ability have sometimes difficulties relating to people because of that. So it's an intuitive thing, but also encourage her and remind her how much you love her and how brilliant she is in her own self. And that will help boost her self-confidence. Christiana, you're curious if you're going to hear more from an opportunity. I see it wide open. So go for it. I would, be proactive and contact these people and sit down for a minute, try connecting with a carnelian, which is your root chakra, traditionally root chakra crystal. You can look up one in a book. You're welcome, Carla. You can look up one in a book or online and see a picture of a carnelian, root chakra, opportunities, jobs, stability in life. What do you like? What do you think about this opportunity? How do you think that you could excel at giving this chance? And then go back to them and present that very calmly, very matter-of-factly, and very much in your personal power. And that's going to open it up wider. So let us know next week if you hear something on that. Oh, good. Go look. Go. Hold on to that carnelian. Oops. Tanya, you felt like a chunk of you went with your mother when she passed. Actually, you're absolutely correct about that, Tanya. As I said earlier, we are very connected to our mothers. Really, even if our mothers did not give birth to us and we've been adopted, there is just that mother energy that connects us. And so when you're feeling that a chunk of you went with her, it most likely did. It does with all of our loved ones. Christiana, you're very welcome. Let us know. Let us know what comes up. Whenever any one of our beloveds die, a piece of us goes with them because of the energetic connection there is between our loved ones and ourselves. And there's even an energetic connection between the people that we associate with that we aren't really connected with or don't want to be connected with. So what you need to do is to sit down and do what the shamanic people would call a soul retrieval. I also do a process with people. It's an hour-long session on soul progression clearing, which helps clear out our attachments to others and bring our energy back into ourselves and fill us back up again. It's a very natural thing that part of us goes with a loved one when they died. It's that, like I said, it's that energetic connection. You need to bring that piece back to you. Your mom doesn't need it in the afterlife, and that's a part of you that needs to come back. So you could call it a soul retrieval, but I like the soul progression clearing process because it brings those pieces back and then fills you back up with healthy energy, so you're reinvigorated again. So I'd like to thank. Okay, one more person here, Patricia. You didn't go to your mom's funeral. You know what, Patricia, that's another great conversation. You're talking about you didn't go to your mother's funeral and you discussed it with her before she passed and you don't like the typical funeral. Well, first of all, there are so many different ways of doing funerals these days. So you can pick any sort of form that you want. The reason I advocate for funerals in whatever form that you and your loved ones choose is it is a great opportunity for you and the community to say goodbye and to end that chapter in your life where that person was with you in a body, or the animal was with you in the animal body. They do come back for their funerals. As I talked about the family yesterday, and today is the funeral. They do come back for their funerals. It is closure for them and for you. And so what you could do is just create your own little ritual right now in your own house. Set aside time for today or another time during the week, even if it's 10 minutes. Light a candle, have a picture of her, something that she liked. Maybe there's a flower that she liked, or a picture of the house that you lived with her. And do your own funeral for your mom in your own way and in a way that she would appreciate, and say, hey, Mom, hey, come on in here. I'm sending you off in my own way. It will probably make her smile, and it will make you feel better. And trust me, well, don't trust me. Just know that I have experienced the same thing with loved ones, and my loved ones now are animals. And each funeral I did for them was honoring their unique personality. Good for you, Patricia. So find out how she would like you and how you and your mom, how she would like the two of you to celebrate her funeral and her passing together. You could come up with some really fun stuff. I thought when my beloved dog died in 2012 that, she was my soulmate, and I was devastated, even though I knew it was coming. And we ended up dancing at this amazing funeral and blasting music throughout the entire neighborhood. I'm surprised people didn't start yelling at us, because you could hear the music a block away. And I did a space clearing at the same time. And what was really cool was my dog came back to dance with us at her funeral. So she's like, my funeral was fun. So you never know. Do something your mom would like. Maybe it's dancing. Maybe it's, going to a restaurant and having a drink. Whatever works for the two of you. That's what makes a great funeral. But do something, because it will help you move on. Yes. So that's awesome. Thank you all for contributing today. I want to close up here a little bit, but I've got 2 webinars I'd like you to hear about. One is free. It's on Tuesday, April 10th at 5:30 Pacific time. Yeah, Carlos, that's awesome. Danced at your husband's funeral. That's awesome. Tuesday, April 10th at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time, I'm doing a meditation on healing and connecting with your dead, right? So you're so welcome, Patricia. So go to the Learn It Live platform. The webinar is free. You can go to the link that's there in the scrolling here and sign up for it, a free account at the Learn It Live platform, and then sign up for the webinar. There are other people already signed up, and I just posted it on the weekend. We are going to help you create a way to connect with your dead. We're also going to do some healing with you, getting you grounded, finding a safe space for you to intuitively connect with your dead on your own. And you'll receive a healing gift that will allow you to create connections with your dead after the webinar on your own, whenever you and they decide you want to do it. So that will be fun and really deeply moving. And so please join us. That's Tuesday, April 10th at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. I have it down for an hour, but it will probably be less than that. We're just going to move through it, and it'll give you some really good information. The other thing is, most of us, and I had a 5-part webinar series on developing our energy boundaries, developing strong energy boundaries, and I had to postpone it a month because my schedule got out of whack. But this is a very intimate group. It's a 5-part webinar series. Most of us do not know how to manage our energy boundaries, so we're not doing the best that we could be in our lives, and we're stumbling. And I know this from personal experience. Once I learned to manage my energy boundaries, I became a better intuitive and healer. I became better at my work. I got healthy after being ill for a long, long time. So I know how to do this, and Fallon McChrystal and I have developed a special way of helping each person look at their individual energy boundaries and change them, because, other people won't either don't know this or don't teach it, but our energy boundaries are alive. Yes, our energy field is alive and is waiting for us to really set up a good partnership with it. So in this once a week, we're going to meet for an hour. There's going to be discussion. We're going to be working together, pairing off. But each person in the webinar is going to have one-on-one time with me. So you will really know what your energy boundaries are and how they expand and develop over time. And the reason I'm spreading this out over 5 weeks is I taught this to healthcare professionals in a day-long workshop, for continuing education credits for their profession. But there's so much material in just a day that spreading it out over 5 weeks gives you time to play with it without overwhelming you at any one particular day, and time to experiment and then come back with your experiments and share with a group and share with me. There'll also be a private Facebook group. So the connection is there online. It's $100, but you get a lot of one-on-one time with me. So it's actually really, really good value. And you really were at the end of our session today. I'd love for you to join me at my radio show this afternoon, 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern at ohmtimes.com radio, the practical, intuitive, mind, body, spirit for the real world. And I need to update my but the phone number is 202-570-7057. And it's crystals for spring today. Spring has sprung, even though it's still snowing in some places, and snowed here in Seattle last Friday. So what kind of crystals can you use to really boost your own energy and really even help out in the garden this spring? Kim Belines of Earthlight Rocks and Gems will join us. She knows more about crystals than anybody I've ever known, and all of her crystals are healthy. And so join us this afternoon. It'll be a lot of fun. And then next week on April 1st, no, it's April 2nd, Monday, April 2nd, is I'm going to talk more about how you can connect with your dead on my radio show, and I'm going to give you some stories and inspiration. And you are always welcome to call into my radio show and get quick reading from me. You can call in this afternoon and ask Kim for a crystal that will work for you in a particular situation. Tanya, that would be great for you to call in. And Christiani, I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name, but it's beautiful. Chrissy, to hold that space for this opportunity that you want. Those are good opportunities to call in and ask him what kind of crystal would work for you. So let's close out for the day. I'd also like you, if you could, to please help us out here. Please like the Ohm Times Institute page, Ohm Times Magazine, and radio pages. Please go to my business page, The Practical Intuitive Robin M. Fritz. Like my page. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like an intuitive or spiritual consultation with me, or past life regression, mediumship, animal communication, you can even do space clearing online, please contact me for a session, private session. I'd love to work with you. But thank you for joining us today. And let's clear out our time together and get us grounded back into our bodies with this healing energy with the goddess. So cross your hands over your heart. And as you breathe into your palms of your hands, imagine energy going into it. You are so welcome. Blow into the palms of your hands and just feel your breath on your palms and imagine it as healing energy. Then hold it out, let it go where it will, to your loved ones, to the rest of us. Then hands back on your heart, breathe into the palms of your hands. Just imagine healing energy flowing into your palms. Breathe into your palms, feel that air, and then back on your heart. And feel yourself getting grounded back in your body, that crown chakra closing down. Thank you for joining us today. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover on Facebook Live, or if you know a deck of cards that you really like that I could play with. Love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week. Take care.